Alright, in this video I'm gonna show you how to make a frequency table, group to frequency table, and how to make a graph using Excel, as well as how to get the basic statistics about the data such as mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. As you probably remember, I had covered how to make a frequency table, group to frequency table using Excel, but back then I mentioned that I was assuming that you know the values of the variable, such as 1, 2, 3 are the values in my data, and based on that assumption we generated the frequency table or group the frequency table. However, in this video I'm gonna assume that you don't know what kind of values are there in a given variable. Here's a sample data set. It has values such as 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, and so on. So it looks like this variable or this column contains continuous variable data, and in that case, since lots of possible values are available, we may not be able to specify what specific values are there. Okay, when you don't know what kind of values are there, it's better to make a frequency table using something called the pivot table. Let me just go ahead and click this button on the insert. So I click the insert tab, and pivot table is set over there, and I select the table or range for the input data. I selected the whole column, and I want my outcome in the existing worksheet, and I specify the specific location of the outcome. And if I hit OK, I have this new window for the pivot table fields, and this one actually indicates the this original data set. And if I click this down arrow, as you can see, it actually includes all the possible values in the data set, and it used the first cell value as the heading of the data set. So the one actually refers to the whole data. Again, Excel took this first cell as the heading of the data set. In order to generate the frequency table that shows all the possible values and the frequency of those values, what you need to do is to move the data set to the rows box, and then it will show all the possible values. And if you move the same variable to the values, it will show the either sum, or you can actually change it to count value. If you click value field settings, you can change it to count to see how the frequency of the values. So in this data set, you have one occurrence of 2 and one occurrence of 3, and so on. So these values occur just once, and there were 3 29s and 10 31s, and so on. So this is how you can make a frequency table. And if you actually have a heading instead of just the actual data over here, then you will have you can see that the one will be included as part of the data. Let me actually go ahead and do what I just meant. So I inserted the one row and variable name. I inserted the heading, and if I regenerate the pivot table, so the whole column is the variable, and for the output, I want to have my output over here, and hit OK. Okay, now variable name is shown as the name of the whole variable. And if I move the and if you click this down arrow, you can see that it includes these values 1 through 65. So 65 was the biggest value in this data set. And in order to generate the frequency table, I moved the variable to the rows, and I also moved that to the values. So the rows will show the actual values in the data set, and if I move the same variable over here, and if I choose in value field settings count, then it will show the count or frequency of these values. So this is how you can make a frequency table, and you can also make a group to frequency table by clicking any cell in this column, and if you right click, there is a group button, and let me group from, so it will automatically generate the beans or intervals, and let me just hit OK to see what I'm going to get. Okay, so it will give you what actually probably would want to get, like your first bean is including the values from 1 to 10, and there is the frequency of these values, and between 11 and 20 there were 8 occurrences. Between 21 and 30 I have 11 occurrences. So this is how you can make the group to frequency table, and you can probably see that, oh, this must be more convenient because sometimes I did not know what kind of values are there, and regardless of that, regardless of the knowledge about the values, you can easily generate the frequency table that includes all the possible values, and you can also group the values into beans or intervals to make a group to frequency table very easily. And for the graph, you can still use these insert and graph features to find, to generate the graphs. All right, and let me add one more thing very quickly. It's about the basic descriptive statistics such as means and standard deviations. And to get those values, you go to data, click data analysis, and click descriptive statistics. And if you're not sure how to get this data analysis under the data tab, all you need to do is just activate that by going to file, hit go down to go to options and go to add-ins, and over here, instead of clicking OK, hit go and check analysis Toolpak and hit OK, then you will get this data analysis. And under the data analysis, you have descriptive statistics, and hit OK. Select the target variable, and in this case I need to click this button labels in the first row. So the first Excel will exclude the first row, and the remaining will be considered as your data. And output range, let me select this new range, and if I if you need to check the summary statistics to get the means, median, mode, and standard deviation variance. And if you hit OK, it will give you, let me expand the columns, it will give you the mean, standard error, median mode, standard deviation, variance, and so on. All right, that's all I have.